cycle notes. So the water cycle notes are over in Google Classroom. I'll present my screen. We're basically going to do what we have been doing. We have 2 sets of notes, and then I found a game that we'll play at the end. It's an individual game. There's not really a way to compete against each other, but you'll still be able to play a game and learn more about the water cycle, basically. So, on Google Classroom, yes, Alex? We'll go over it. I don't know. We'll see. All right, so I'll open it up. So first one is water cycle notes. I already have the PowerPoint open, so here's the set of notes. Okay. So this one, we're going to label the arrows in this time. Yeah, I'll show you guys how to do it. We'll do it one by one as we do it. I put them in the correct spots. But we're going to go back and forth between our notes and the water cycle. So, first part of the water cycle. Are we good to go, though? I think most of you guys had it opened already. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So, water cycle. First one says that the water in the air, which is called water vapor, there's water in the ground and in the bodies of water, and it all moves around the earth in different ways. We call the movement of water around earth the water cycle. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you can fill in some blanks on that one, right? So that's all from the first one, and then we are going to fill in some places for the arrows and all that stuff. So I'm going to give you about 1 minute to fill in those first couple of blanks, and then I'm going to show you how to write words where they need to go. Because this picture that you see on this slide is the same as what's on the Google Doc for our notes, and we're going to label it, okay?
It's so much easier with 2 laptops because you don't have to because that took so much time to do that, and now I find an easier way to
click
do it.
back and forth.
Yeah, it was harder to click back and forth, and now I can just look at one screen and then look at the other one.
Okay, so filling this out. No, we're not going to copy and paste. We need to add text boxes on this one. So we're going to go ahead and go over and do that part of the thing. So if you have moved on and you're not with me, come back to where I'm at right now. We're going to do this part right here where it says, label the different processes of the water cycle on the diagram below. In order to do that, you need to double click on the picture and it opens up like this. Okay, you double click on the picture and it'll open up. And then you might want to zoom in on it. I'm going to do 100. Nope, I'm going to do more. Let's do 200 is too far. Okay. Zoom out. Okay, whatever. We'll leave it there. Yeah, that seems to be as good as it's going to go.
Why are we doing drawing on it?
Whoa. So to label this, first of all, there's up here on the top, the T that's inside a box means a text box. You click on that and we can draw text boxes where we need to draw them. Let's see. Let's put one above the arrow right here. It's going to be really small. That's the thing though. It's going to be very small. Then we need to go back to our PowerPoint and see what goes there. What goes above that arrow? Good. Condensation. Oof. Okay. We need to make it nice and long so it fits. Condensation.
Are they? You know which one fits the best? 11. 11 will fit really good.
Size 11 for your font?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you'll highlight it, and then the 3 dots over here opens it up, and you can change it from 14 to 11. Makes it smaller, And then you can move your text box wherever you need to. So I'm going to move it kind of above that. So the condensation one is in the clouds. And we're going to learn what each one of these things stands for. We're just going to label them first. Yeah, you can copy and paste the box and just change the word inside, or you can keep creating new text boxes, however you need to do it. What's the next one, though? Precipitation goes inside this cloud over here. So I'm going to make a new text box to go inside the cloud. I'm going to change the font size from not 14 to 11 and change it to Precipitation. That goes inside. Oh, I spelled it wrong. There we go. So there's our second one. Is this making sense how you edit the drawing? Does it make sense?
I can't spell it.
It's on the slides if you need it.
Yes.
No, man.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay if it overlaps some of the stuff. It probably will. What's our next one? So if we keep going in a circle, let's do evaporation. It goes right in the middle of all of the mountains and the clouds right here. Evaporation goes over here. Okay, evaporation goes in between the clouds right there. Did you get it, Skylar? Okay. Okay. Once you have it clicked on it, right, you should be able to get like that 4 arrow thing. Move your cursor around until you get the 4 arrows, and then you can hold it and drag it anywhere. Click on it and hold it down while you drag it places. Okay, what's our next one? Infiltration. Let's write infiltration at the bottom over here. Infiltration comes all the way over here. Infiltration comes at the bottom. Okay. What's our next one? Collection. Infiltration, but you also have it on your Google Slides. You can look at your Google slide. It's right there. So we're going to do collection that goes in the river, or in the lake.
Is that really cool?
Collection, so it's where water collects in a lake. It collects there. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 done. How many more do we need? 2 more. Absorption is next over in the bottom. I'm just going to keep going until I'm done, and I'll give you guys a few minutes to get them written down as well. So in the bottom over here is absorption. Okay. And then the last one is transpiration underneath the sun. I got 3 done.
Either one, I can't get one in the cloud or
Okay, so there's all of them. Once you get all of them, in order to save it, so that all of the words stay on there, all you do is hit save and close, and it'll be on your drawing. So I'm going to hit it really quick just to show you what it looks like, and then I'll go back to it. But you click save and close, and then it's all been added to your drawing below. Kind of cool, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to give you guys, let's say 3 minutes. Is that enough time, you think, to get all of them in there?
I'm done.
All right, if you're done, sit tight. There might be more that you can keep going ahead to fill out, but I'm going to wait until 12:45 to let people finish this part, and then we'll keep going. Okay, good. Okay. About 2 minutes, and then I'm going to move on. And as always, if I'm going a little bit too quick, the notes and everything are still there for you. I don't take them away. So you can always get them done after. Yeah, but they're still there. And so as long as I've posted them in Google Classroom, you have access to them until I decide to take them down. Yeah.
I'm just copy and pasting from the thing.
That's fine. You can copy and paste from the text.
It's faster.
Yep.
Oh, sure.
Okay, about 1 more minute. And then I think it's just definitions from here of all the different parts of the water cycle. And then,
Like the PowerPoint.
yeah, the next couple of slides will give the definitions of all of them. Yep.
So like we did the sun, water, earth, and it causes liquid, water, to evaporation. So I think things so I did look at
Alrighty. I'm going to save and close this drawing. Again, if you need to finish it later, totally fine. But the next part, we're describing the different processes of the water cycle. So that goes right back to our PowerPoint. And so there are 7 processes in the water cycle. The first one, we have evaporation. The second one is transpiration. Number 3 is condensation. Number 4 is precipitation. Number 5 is collection. Number 6 is infiltration. And number 7 is absorption. So we're going to talk about all of these, copy and paste our definitions over. Okay, so first one, talking about evaporation first. If you notice in the picture, evaporation is red. We're talking about evaporation first. So the sun is the driving force of all things in the water cycle. The sun is a huge part of the water cycle. First, it warms the water on the Earth's surface. It causes liquid to change into a gas, and this is called evaporation. So this part right here, the sun warms the water on the Earth. It causes liquid to change into gas. That's evaporation. Okay, liquid water changes into gas. So the water evaporates up into the clouds. You don't need to copy and paste the whole thing. You probably only need to copy and paste this part. It causes liquid water to change into gas. And that's called evaporation. Okay? So you can copy and paste over that part. So evaporation is the water changing into a gas and going into the atmosphere. Okay, let's look at our next slide. After evaporation, we have, where did it go? There we go. Transpiration. So plants will store the water in their leaves. Leaves have small openings, and when the sun warms up those plants, it causes the water to evaporate out of the leaves. And this is through, that's what transpiration is, right? The water evaporates out of the leaves through the small openings. So, copy and paste this part. When the sun warms the plants, it causes the water to evaporate out of the leaves through small openings, and this is transpiration. So the water is leaving the plants. I'm just going to leave it big. I don't really want to go with making it small.
I'm writing it out because I'm using 2 laptops, so you can't just copy and paste from one laptop to the other.
That's fine.
So I have to type it out.
As long as you are getting it done, works for me. All right. Our next one, condensation. This one is in the atmosphere, so up in the sky and high up in the air. Water vapor cools down and it changes back into liquid form. So that's called condensation. So the part that you're going to want to copy and paste is that first bullet point. The best way to think about condensation as well is a glass of water. If you have a glass of water and it's cold, what kind of forms on the outside of your water? On your glass?
Fog,
Liquid.
kind
Yeah, there's liquid and the outside of your glass gets kind of wet, right? The outside of the glass is gathering condensation. It's water vapor on the outside of the glass. So it's water turning back into liquid form. Condensation, basically. Okay? So that's when tiny droplets of water form on dust particles in the atmosphere to form clouds. So condensation is how clouds come around. Yes, Charlie? Okay, good.
What's the part we copy and paste?
In the first bullet point.
So the whole thing?
Yep, first bullet point. Yeah, if you finish, you can turn it in. Okay? I'm going to go about another 30 seconds and then we will look at the next one. All right, our next one, we're on slide number 7. In this one, we are going to talk about precipitation. This is the one that you see most often. Precipitation is rain. It's when the clouds become too heavy, so they have too much water in them, and the water falls to the Earth's surface, aka it rains. Precipitation is when it rains. Okay, so we can copy and paste that whole thing over. So water falls to the Earth's surface.
I copy and paste. I mean, what's the part you to write down?
For precipitation?
The whole thing. The whole thing.
The whole thing. Yep. Okay, so that's precipitation. It's essentially when it rains. Precipitation. Slide number 7 on here. So we're on slide 7. And then on the water cycle notes, it's the box that says precipitation. Yeah. And then wait about 30 seconds more, and then we'll look at the next one, collection or infiltration. I don't remember which one it is. All right. Our next one, is collection. We also talk about it as runoff too. So precipitation that falls to the Earth's surface moves from high to low elevations. So if you consider this in terms of rain and snow, it rains on in Flagstaff and it goes to the top of the peaks, right? And then that water runs down the sides of the mountains, and that water is called runoff. Runoff then collects in rivers and flows into lakes and oceans. So the part that you need to highlight and copy and paste is runoff that collects in rivers, flows into lakes and oceans. So the water basically collects somewhere. It's called the collection. Even if you put out a bucket in the rain and it fills with water, that's collection because you have collected the water. Yeah, if you finish, you can turn it in. So we'll copy and paste over that part under the collection one. Okay, bye Olivia. We'll see you in the morning for ELA. I'm Miss Jones. Okay. All right. Our next one, infiltration. Some of the water on the Earth's surface will absorb into the ground. This is called infiltration. So that first bullet point is what you need to copy and paste over. So essentially, if you think about it in terms of water and soil, like dirt, if it rains, the water gets absorbed into the soil, right? And then the water goes into the plants, and the plants use it to grow. This is called infiltration. It infiltrates and goes into the soil. Some water is stored in the soil. Some water will collect in pools underground, and it's called groundwater. So there's different ways that we talk about it, but basically it goes into, oh wait, sorry, I didn't actually copy it. Hold up. Copy, paste. It gets absorbed into the Earth's surface. It infiltrates the soil. And maybe it collects underwater in the underground in pools. A couple of different ways that happens. All right. And our last one, absorption. The water that's in the soil is taken up by the plants. So the plants take the water through the soil into their roots, and then they use that water to grow, and then it goes back through the leaves, which is called transpiration, and that goes into the clouds and evaporation and precipitation, and it just goes in a circle over and over and over again. Exactly, that's why they call it the water cycle, because it cycles through the ecosystem. So for the water cycle one, you're going to want, or sorry, the absorption, you want to highlight and copy and paste this part. Plants take up water in the soil through their roots. This is called absorption. It doesn't end. Nope. But it technically doesn't, because there's still water in the ground that's able to be absorbed. Yeah, potentially. But also there's the fact that we still have lakes and rivers and wind blow, so it's not all done. It may not rain very much here, but we still have the water cycle happening. It's just not happening as often or as quick as other places where it might rain a lot. Very, very fast, yeah. What did we skip? We skipped part of the cycle? Oh, you mean in Winslow we skip it. I thought you meant on the notes we skip something, and I was like, what? Yeah. All right, so once, I'm going to give you guys about 2 or 3 minutes. Once you finish up with this set of notes, you can turn it in. There is another one, yeah. And this one I don't think will take very long either. Yeah.
Is it the carbon cycle note? Michelle,
Hmm?
is it the carbon cycle note?
Yep.
The other laptop that I was using wasn't working, so I just had to turn it off. So now I just have to copy and paste.
Mm-hmm.
This is going very, 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 very slow.
What? Yes. All right. I'm going to close out of the water cycle notes. You guys might want to leave it open for the game. I know that you guys might have turned it in. I think that you can still see it if you turned it in. Can you still click on it if you turned it in? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there's a game after that's like online that I'll post that I think will be fun. I played it a little bit earlier. I enjoyed it, but I also enjoy science and all that stuff. So, we are going to go ahead and do one other set of notes really quick. I don't think that there is, I don't know for sure. So water cycle notes we have finished. A lot of you guys have turned it in, which is awesome. We are going to look at the carbon cycle notes. So you can open up the PowerPoint and the Google Docs. Yep, you can go ahead and start. Wow, there's a lot of places to label on this one. But I'm thinking that we might not. Oh, you know what we're going to do instead? I have such a good idea. What? I'll tell you when we get there. Yes, Skylar. When Alex gets back, we can go. We've got to go one at a time. All right. Carbon. Oh, no, I didn't want to do that. Carbon cycle notes. Are we good to get going on those? Are we doing all right? Okay. Carbon cycle notes.
I already started.
Perfect. To start, the parts where you are typing in your own stuff, I'm not going to do that part with you. So I'll leave it on this one for a little bit. So the carbon cycle. Carbon is a chemical element. One of you guys probably did it for the very, very beginning of the school year when we did that adopt an element project where you researched an element. I think somebody did carbon. I don't remember who, but it's an element found in nature. It's a natural element, and it's often combined with other elements. Carbon will combine with oxygen to form carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is found in the atmosphere as a gas. We as humans cannot breathe in carbon dioxide. It's not. No, we don't breathe in carbon dioxide. We breathe out carbon dioxide. But we breathe in oxygen.
Well, you can if you breathe into a cup.
Yeah.
You can breathe in carbon dioxide if you do it.
Yeah.
If you breathe into a cup.
Yeah. So you, as humans, we breathe in oxygen, which is combined with carbon dioxide, basically. So we breathe them in, and then when we breathe out, carbon dioxide is what comes out.
We breathe in oxygen from the trees, and the trees breathe in carbon dioxide from us.
Good. The oxygen cycle we learned about yesterday. Then our second bullet point says carbon can also combine with hydrogen to form hydrocarbons. These are fossil fuels that are called hydrocarbons. They are burned to make electricity for heating and cooking. So it's a source of energy. And then finally, carbon can combine with oxygen and hydrogen to form organic compounds. What? Does carbon run out? No, because it's in the air. Yeah. Yeah. Sugars, proteins, nucleic acids, and fats are all types of organic compounds. Organic compounds make up living things and are essential for life. So essentially, carbon, part of our bodies are carbon. Same with oxygen and water. We need all of those things to survive. And they form organic things. Organic just means living. So these elements combine to make living things and help us survive. They're essential for our life. All right. I'll give you guys About 2 minutes on this slide. How much of that does it do? Oh, quite a lot. Okay, cool. This will be a quick one, I think. Oh, wait. Not as quick as I thought. Hold up. It's fine. Yeah. Okay, so I'll give you a second on this one. Alrighty. Next slide. The carbon cycle, or carbon cycles and changes form in the environment. The movement and the transformation of carbon is called the carbon cycle. So how it changes within different organisms and nutrients and how it helps us as living things. There are 5 major processes that move carbon through the carbon cycle. The first one is cellular respiration. Then we have photosynthesis, nutrition, which is the feeding and exertion. So when an animal eats something and then poops it back out. And then we have decomposition, so the decomposition of that poop. And then burning fossil fuels. I know, it's so fun to talk about, huh? So go ahead and fill out the blanks for this slide. And then before you get too far into it, you don't need to do the drawing thing on this one where we clicked on it and we added all the text boxes. I thought of a better way to do it. Copy and pasting the picture instead. So finish up this slide. And then instead of doing all those text boxes, we're just going to copy the picture that's on the slide and paste it into our document instead. So much easier. I don't know why I didn't think of it before. Sorry. Yeah, but now you learned how to do Google Drawings, where you click on it and you can add things to your drawings. So really, we did learn something. And then we learned that we don't always have to go the hard way around things, right? All right. Yes, Charlie.
When you do it, it doesn't copy and paste the word.
Oh, because they're...
Does it have to be perfect? Oh, I just copy and pasted the whole picture.
Did it work?
Yeah.
Except the picture doesn't have all of the words on it. Okay, I lied. We probably still have to go about it. Let's see. Does this one have all of them? Nope. 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 Yeah, so we can click on cellular respiration. Oh, well, let me copy it. All right, never mind. We're going to do it the fun way. I lied. No, we're not. You don't need to fill in the boxes. So for this Google drawing, we're not going to fill in where the arrows are. That just takes a while, and I would rather we just write down the definitions and play the game that I have for you guys instead. So we're not going to copy and paste the picture over. Sorry if that was confusing. If it worked for you, awesome, but I don't want to waste the time doing it. So let's go ahead and look at cellular respiration. That's our first one, correct? On the boxes? Yep. Animals release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So they breathe out carbon dioxide. They release carbon dioxide as a waste product of cellular respiration. Okay. Plants also perform cellular respiration, but we are going to focus on photosynthesis, not cellular respiration. So you only need to copy and paste that first bullet point. Animals release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. When they release the carbon dioxide, it is then a waste product of cellular respiration. So we will copy and paste that over in the cellular respiration one. And I'll give you guys a minute to do that. What's coming? I can think of a lot of times where that's happened, yes.
My slingshot broke over the math break.
Oh,
Yep, it broke. It snapped right on me. And it didn't smack me, it just snapped as I shot it.
darn.
So it was very, very fun.
I tried to do that, but it did not work.
That happened to me before. It smacked me.
Have you seen those videos where the people are doing the thing and they put it under their foot and then it just like hits them hard?
That
Or they have
sounds
the
really
rubber
dumb.
thing and they put it under their feet?
Those
Yeah,
workout
and they
things.
stand on it.
Yeah.
That's gotta hurt.
And it flings back up and hit the nose.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at our next slide. Our next one, we talk about photosynthesis. This is a process that happens within plants. Plants will absorb the carbon dioxide that's put out in the air. We talked about this yesterday with the oxygen cycle, right? We, humans and animals, breathe out carbon dioxide and then the plants absorb it. They use the carbon dioxide for the process of photosynthesis. In photosynthesis, plants transform carbon dioxide and water, they need both, using the energy that they get from the sun into organic molecules, which is specifically sugar, which then animals are able to eat. So you need to kind of get the second part of that bullet point. In photosynthesis, plants transform carbon dioxide and water. That's the stuff we
I
need.
did the wrong one. I did the first paragraph.
Yeah, we want the second part of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go delete that part.
All right. Yeah, so the second part is photosynthesis and kind of how it describes it. It's a process within plants. They basically take the carbon dioxide and turn it into food for animals. Sit still and wait.
It's like, dang, I forgot what I was gonna say. Dang. Oh, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You can see everybody's like markings on there.
I know.
Uh,
Yep. All right, let's look at our next slide, slide 6. Animals will eat the plants. Plants are made of organic compounds, so things that they can eat. Animals use the food for energy and to build structures inside their bodies. So that's feeding. Is that one on there? Oops, wrong way. Yep. So feeding is when animals eat plants. I don't think you really need much other than that. You guys know what it means to feed on something. You eat it. So for feeding, the animals eat the plants. Okay? The animals eat plants. They feed on it.
and on that one, you don't even have to change the size.
Nope, it just fits right on in there. Okay? So that's feeding, and then we get to go read about exertion, or excreted, sorry, wrong word. That is when they poop it out. So, food that is not used by the animals, so food that's not converted into energy that the animal needs for their body, is exerted as waste. So they poop it out. But that waste product, the poop, contains carbon in it. So we're going to copy and paste that first bullet point. And then it says that decomposers will break down that waste into organic matter, which becomes incorporated into the soil. So first copy and paste that first one over about the excretion, which is pooping. Gotta love it. Fun to talk about, right?
No.
It's only fun when you create a funny diarrhea joke.
Hmm.
Like Like when you say I was coming up a ladder and I felt something splatter diarrhea.
Okay. So there's the excretion part. Am I going too fast or are we good? Still good?
No, you're going perfect speed.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next one. This one is about the decomposition. So decomposers, which we know are things like bacteria, worms, some insects, they break down or decompose the structure of the dead organisms into organic matter. Plants then absorb some of the nutrients in the organic matter and use them to build plant parts. So what part do we need out of this? The decomposing part, correct? Oops. Yep, the decomposing part. So we're going to take that first bullet point. Decomposers break down or they decompose the structure of the dead organisms into organic matter as well. They decompose the food.
Wait, are we gonna skip number 9 for the things that we're doing?
We're gonna read it, but it's not part of the thing. Yeah. Yeah, it's not in the notes, but we'll go over it still.
Those kids are talking like crazy.
Yeah, I know. We just ignore it for the most part. All right. So now we know that decomposers have broken down the waste product of the animals, and it's getting absorbed into the soil. From there, it gets buried under many layers of rock, some of it, and then over very, very, very long times, that organic matter, mainly the poop, is transformed into fossil fuels. And then on the next page is where we learn about fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are basically things that you can burn. Like literally you set them on fire and they create carbon dioxide that goes back into the environment and it starts the carbon cycle all over again back from the top. So when they burn fossil fuels at factories, they're putting carbon dioxide back into the air to be absorbed by the plants, which create the sugars, which the animals eat, which then they poop out, which then becomes fossil fuels again, and then they burn it again and it goes back into the air. So
Cycles are kind of weird. Like, that's just different.
Yeah, it is different.
And
so
it's kind of interesting at the same time.
Yep. We'll copy and paste that first part about burning fossil fuels. Factories will burn fossil fuels to produce electrical energy. So they produce some electricity. Trucks and cars burn gasoline, which is a type of fossil fuel. And those also release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Now, I will say that we as humans release way too much carbon dioxide into the air. It is not good for the environment, which is why there's all kinds of things about climate change happening right now. The more that we use gasoline, the more we use these fossil fuels, the worse the environment is getting. So it's not the best thing to do, but it is a process that happens in our environment. But it's not good. Okay? So once you finish that up, you can
turn it in.
Turn it in. Yep, I'll give you guys a few minutes to finish that up.
I stole your words.
Yes. Okay, while you guys are doing that, I'm gonna post the game that I was talking about. So I'll give you guys a few minutes, and I also need to go to my email to get the link. So give me a few minutes.
Is it like the game we did the other day?
Kind of, where you kind of. Oops, I'll find the notification.
I have 15 minutes till my laptop dies.
You got a little bit of time to play then.
Yeah, probably enough time. And if it dies before then it dies before then.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, I didn't put it in science. Hold up. 1 sec. Okay. So now, let's see. I'm going to close out of all of the notes and stuff. You guys know what you need to do with those. Once you finish, you can get them turned in. Now, when I share my screen, yeah, the game should be on your Google Classroom now. I'm going to kind of start it and kind of show you the process, but it talks a lot about the water cycle. It'll probably go more in depth even than we talked. So do your best on it. It might be a little bit more in depth than we learned about. So the water cycle game has a link that you can click on to open it up. If it says that the website is blocked, reload the page and I bet you it'll work. Yeah. So let it load. Yeah, that's what it'll look like. Mine's taking a bit to load, so it might take a second. And then it has a little disclaimer. The game is intended strictly as a review of the material you have already learned. The facts we provide are not sufficient to answer all the questions that you will encounter. Prior knowledge of the material is assumed. But that's actually good news. If you know your stuff, should your gaming skills fail you, just answer a question and we'll pretend that it never happened. So basically, if you get the answers right, you get to play the game. If you get them wrong, you have to keep answering until you get it right. So good luck. So if we start and we play, water is constantly cycling from land to the ocean to atmosphere and back again. Around and around goes the water. Whee! And then the arrow at the top tells you to go.
It's a little running water.
Yep. And then it says it's on the move through evaporation, precipitation, transpiration, condensation, crystallization. We did not talk about crystallization, but that's all right. And just plain old running downhill. So that's how water moves. And then onto the my nice big glass of water. Woo. And then you can kind of go through some levels here. I did not go very far into this. I don't know exactly what the game looks like as you keep going, but it seemed like fun. So I figured you guys could try it. But basically, you got to leap over to the sun. So you tap to jump. Oh, I did not jump far enough. So I died, and now it gives me a question. The diagram shows the water cycle. Which 2 points represent processes driven directly by gravity? So I can't see that very well, so I'm going to zoom in on it. So we have A, B, C, and D. Which ones represent gravity? Which one uses gravity to pull water down? Any ideas? Elijah, you said yes. What do you think?
I did that. It's point A and point B.
Good. It's point A and point B. So if you click on point A and point B, you get it right. And then you click X, and you get to try jumping again. Okay, I made it this time. So you want to jump from water to water, and then get to this question mark. Oh, I missed. Darn. So I get another question. Let's assume I get it wrong. Okay. So I got it wrong. I got a red X. It's going to give you another question until you get it right. And then you can keep going. So you might have to mess around. Oh, I missed again. It's kind of a hard, I got to time it right. But basically just keep going, learn more and more about the water cycle, play for a little while, and I'll let you guys play. We got about 8 minutes left of class, so I would like you guys to play for those 8 minutes, and then after that, I'll let those of you online head out. If you're here, you can keep playing and stuff. So, but yeah, try this game for a little bit. It looks kind of fun. I'm going to not play it, but you guys go ahead. If you have a question on one, let me know. Maybe I can help you out.